Hi, I'm Adrien. I'm the co-founder of Allcolibri. We're a company with purpose that is empowering every single company to reward their employees, customers with good deed for the planet. I was invited by Elie and Impactivs to witness my experience on stage, to share my experience as an entrepreneur in impact, what is my entrepreneur journey, what are my successes, what are my failures. When you're talking about impact, it's really easy to get meetings because at a personal level, I would say 90% of the people we're talking to within their companies, they want to have a positive impact. So they take the meeting, but it cannot be always a confirmed interest. They want to do things, but it's not on their top priority list most of the time. So you need to find a way to move from the nice to have to the must have. And this is where we've been working a lot at the beginning. So how do we bring business KPIs at the same time? Exactly. To prove that impact is not only good for the planet and the society, but it's also good for your business, for your employer brand, for your brand perceptions, and so on.
So now we are fast forward a year and 8 months, a year and 10 months after you raised funds.
Yeah.
I remember you mentioned you have 55 customers.
Yes.
How many team members?
We're 7.
7.
We're a small team.
Yeah.
And we're planning to stay
lean.
Yeah, lean, exactly.
Yeah.
We're hiring business developers, so if someone is interested.
I heard I was business developer on my right there.
Okay. So we're still looking for a business developer.
Okay.
But yeah, we're planning to stay lean until the end of the year.
Okay.
To really pick the best use case of our technology, and then we're going to accelerate on this very specific use case.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
probably raise more money.
So I understand that now you're at this phase where you need to arbitrate between the different use cases that you described, e-commerce, loyalty, but also the type of audience.
Exactly.
Before we get into that, what would be the 3 key milestone or change break or business changing moments from the moment you raised fund until now that really made this kind of spark?
Okay.
Or
The first 100K clients signing our license for 100K. So it was a big confirmation of the potential of the business.
How did it happen?
It was an inbound.
So someone called, say, I saw your
No,
stuff.
someone in my network on LinkedIn that I haven't been speaking to for
This,
years.
I saw what you're
So
doing.
yeah, it's great.
So you planted seeds years ago. You
I'm launching like a fintech solution. I'd like to talk to you because we might want to do something with you. And it was a super short sales cycle, and it was our first biggest contract. And so it was a nice milestone because, of course, it gives you visibility, and it raises a bit your ambition of what you can do in the short run. Then hiring, building a team, it's great, obviously, when you have a team and your team is loving your product, and sometimes they are even more into your product than you are. I think it's really great to have team members that are really committed, yes, exactly, and passionate. And the last milestone, I would say, it's the feedback of some clients, like Decathlon. So they came with this idea to offer our good deed within their loyalty program. And we didn't try that before, so we're like, okay, big question mark. Is it going to work? Are people going to be able to give their points away instead of having like 10 euros vouchers and so on? And it happens that it was a huge success, and it's the first reward selected within their loyalty program now, which is great.
So beyond the different rewards, they pick
Exactly.
Allcolibri.
Exactly. They pick Allcolibri. It's not the brand that they're picking, it's the impact, the good deed, doing something good for the planet. And it was a huge trigger for us to say, okay.
The thesis, right?
Exactly. So if you give the opportunity to people to do good things, they will do it. And people want to act. We just need to give them the means to act.
Okay.
If you ask them to go to the forest and to plant themselves the tree, you will lose a lot of people on the road. But if you ask them just to give a few points easily in one click and it will plant a tree,
Yeah.
they will do it at scale.
And I guess that we need both to save our planet now, but
Of course.
it's good to have the easy actions too. And you can do it at scale. Do you know how many deeds that you've done by now? Like, do you have figures? Or?
No, we haven't. It's a shame because we have an impact page for all our clients where we are collecting all their impact KPIs. And of course, it's part of our product offering. It's to be able to communicate about your impact because, of course, enterprises want to show the world what they're doing with their community of users or employees. But we haven't done it for ourselves. We are not aggregating all the KPIs
Really?
no. And
You're too customer centric.
it's a project we are having in our Trello, but it's always pushed back because
because it's for customers.
exactly.
It's not
And
to
where
customer.
we are not good, it's to do our own communication.
Yeah.
We are a bit like these entrepreneurs that spend too much time working on
In the machine.
In the machine, exactly, and we don't have time yet to work on our communication. We haven't done any PR release. We have some clients doing PR release about the fact they're working with us, but we have never done any.
Yeah.
And this is part of what we will tackle next year, to hire someone for marketing, doing all these things for us, because we're doing plenty of nice things, but we don't communicate about it because we are too busy with our
One nice
job.
potential that you have is that basically your customers promote
Yes.
you through their platform, so you could have a lot of visibility about potential of the
Exactly.
customers.
We receive a lot of leads from clients, especially in the B2B. This morning we had a lead from Havas, the media agency, because they received a good deal from one of our clients.
Oh, really?
Because some are using it to thank their client. They say, hey, I'm offering you like 500 trees to plant. Boom, you can select that and say, hey, we saw that, it's cool, maybe we could do something together.
You can buy an amazing flywheel with that.
Yeah. We didn't think about this potential viral effect, but it could happen.
Okay, so, but I mean, what I understand is you had this idea of the reforest, and someone made good use of his lockdown time, and reforest turned into Allcolibri, and basically now you're 7 people, 55 customers, and basically 3 routes, 3 go-to-market, 3 channels, 3 use cases.
Yes. So a nightmare in terms of communication,
positioning,
messaging on the website. Yes.
Okay.
This is where we're not good at. Most of the people we are contacting to say, "Oh, that's great what you're demoing me, because I went on your website and I didn't really know what you were doing."
Yeah.
Now it's improving a bit because we released a new website. It's a bit better, but it's still in transition.
Yeah. And it proves that we can still succeed and grow without having a perfect marketing, which sometimes we believe marketing comes. But I think
you can succeed in a lot of ways. And every time you're talking with entrepreneurs that were really successful, they told you that they were focusing on only one channel, one thing, and they were doing that really well.
Yeah.
And they say that they were not good at the beginning in all these other channels, and it didn't count because they were really good in one channel of client acquisition.
I have many more questions, and I also want to open up to the floor so they can also ask their questions. I have one last question before opening up, is like, what would be, like, if you look at your entrepreneurship journey, and especially here at Colibri, what would be, you think, the 3 keys to the success that you're having now? And of course, it's an ongoing thing, and you still need to do a lot of things, but like, what allowed you to translate this idea from basically having to decide which route to take because you have 3 opportunities? Like, what were the 3 keys to success?
I would say being resilient is
meaning overcoming obstacles with the smile.
Exactly, and being a strong believer in what is your mission, and loving your mission, because of course you're talking about success, but I don't feel it's a success yet at all, and I think we're really far from what could be considered a success. So resilient, passionate.
Can you just maybe put the subtitle of what resilient means, because it seems that there is a tough thing behind it.
Yeah.
In the sense like
So resilient, it's So we were talking, for example, with Carrefour. You know Carrefour? So Carrefour was willing to work with us last summer, and we were that close to sign an amazing contract with them. And unfortunately, the person in charge went sick and on sick leave for like 8 months. Exactly. So she was in charge of that. So shit happens. So, but you need to keep going. It was an amazing opportunity for us. We were already
seeing the step further.
Exactly, seeing the step further, and it was would have been like a game changer at that time. So you need to be resilient. Sometimes you're trying to hire really talented people, but you don't succeed at hiring them. At the very last stage, they're going to go to another company that will offer a bigger package and maybe more stability. And when you had like a confirmed yes, and finally you get a call 2 days after that, and they say, "Oh, sorry, but I think I'm planning to have a baby this year, so I would prefer to stay where I am. It's going to be safer for me," and so on. And these kind of things, you can't really do anything about it. If the one in charge of signing the contract is gonna go on sick leave, there is nothing you can do. If the one deciding to join your company and at the last time she's realizing that she's not ready to jump into a startup that is really early stage and with all the excitement, but also all there are opportunities, but it's also not as safe as joining maybe a big group. You need to let go, I would say, all these things, and focus on what you can control.
To let go mentally and physically, like
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like
just to move
now
on,
when this kind of things is happening, I'm like, okay, for 5 minutes, it's sad, and let's move on. But at the very beginning, it's affecting you.
So don't let it
exactly
create instability.
When you have someone that is happening, you do a meeting and the guy think there is no point of what you're doing. It happens. Not that often, but it happens. And then you need to keep believing in what you're doing and not feel like questioning yourself. Are we really doing something meaningful? I don't know. You need to stop doing that. And something that is very important is to have nice co-founders or your first circle of people in your team at the beginning. You need to trust them and to be able to share when you have doubt, because they're gonna
boost you.
Yeah, it's gonna boost you, and the same way around. And I think being really transparent, honest, and of course it's affecting you when you're having like a lot of bad beats during the same day. You're going back, I'm going back to my wife, and I'm like, I had a shitty day, and she's like, hey, come on, you know tomorrow it's going to be a good day, and forget about it. You're like, okay.
And so this being open and being vulnerable with the first circle.
Yeah, I think it's the style of...
create safety as well.
I think being honest, we are not superhero, we're human beings, and we are not always good at what we're doing. Being honest as well, saying that, hey, here, like marketing, we suck. We could do better. But we know at least we suck, so I think it's 50% of the job that is done. You know that you need to address that. I don't perceive that as weakness. I perceive that as honesty, and I've been talking with a lot of entrepreneurs and with our investors that have been really successful at creating enterprises, and they're all very humble. Every time when you hear about them, it feels that they were at the right time, at the right spot.
But also because they've been resilient to wait for...
Exactly, the rest was hard working. Yeah, exactly. Keep working until the right time is coming, or you reach the right spot.
Yeah.
And that
I think we have pretty good understanding of what is your vision of resilience now. Thank you for opening up.
And to give a bit of my background, I didn't come from Impact. Before that, for the past 15 years, I was working and building startups in ad tech and SaaS. So at the end of this journey, I couldn't find any goals except making more money, which is not a goal in life, basically. So I was lacking purpose, and that's why I decided to to build a project with my co-founder for purpose. And it's fulfilling me a lot on a daily basis. But sometimes you're questioning yourself, hey, it could be easier to do things that are less meaningful, but you already know the market is there. You know how to play in this market, and you know how to succeed really well in this market. And then I just forget because I'm like, okay, but I was not really.
Yeah, it's not what will make you feel fulfilled.
Exactly.
Right?
I was not feeling happy at the end of the day to succeed in some things that had no point for me.
Yeah. I guess many of us are here also for this reason. Like having an enterprise, being an entrepreneur is
I've learned tons of skills during this.
You know.
Exactly. That I want to convert into something more meaningful.
Yeah. Cool. Okay, resilience. Do you see?
Having the right people around you. The right people. And don't be afraid to ask for help. We keep asking for help to get intro to people. We have this UX problem. Can you recommend us someone that we can talk to? We go to experts. I think I told you about that. We have invited a few experts to do some workshop with us to keep improving us on things where we are not good, and even for the things where we think we are good, we need to improve. We keep talking with other entrepreneurs and asking them, how do you get more leads? How do you improve your conversion rate? How do you reduce your sales cycle? How do you not suck at hiring people and onboarding people and all these things? So we keep asking for help every time, and people love to share their experiences because when you have been struggling for a few years and you have learned something that took you a user journey that was a bit painful, you're really happy to give the shortcut to someone else. Mm-hmm. And
I think that's a very good one that we can practice all together during the networking. So feel welcome to share the obstacle you have and see the people in front can
share also the success you found. Obviously, I'm talking about when we're struggling, but of course when something is working well, we share with other entrepreneurs, even within the same industries, how we don't perceive them as competitors because we're all acting for the same purpose. So it would be crazy if someone is planting 1 million trees. I'm not gonna say, oh, it's not me, so it's shit. No, it's great. It's amazing. It's amazing. So yeah, the team, talking to people openly, and the last key thing I would say is sometimes not to think too much, and it's easy when you are overthinking what you're doing and what you should do to not take decision. And sometimes I think it's better to take quick decision and fail really fast rather than thinking about something for 6 months and not willing to take a decision. And when you're going to take a decision after 6 months of thinking, if you fail, it's going to really hit you really hard.
Is this something that is intrinsically with you, or is something you had to learn in your entrepreneurship journey?
I think it's, I'm like that. I'm really spontaneous.
Because
so I take exactly. I'm action driven. I don't think too much. Usually I think after what I've done, and I realize, okay, why have I failed here? And then I'm able to understand why I failed, and why have I succeeded, and then I'm able to understand why I have succeeded and how I can replicate the success or avoid the failure.
Yeah. I can recall that there are some organizations that make the difference between the reversible decision and the non-reversible decision. And a lot of our decisions are reversible, so if they are reversible, basically we can take the decision fast.
Yeah.
But if they are non-reversible, have a different process for deciding. I guess that would be also a way to help on the decision making.
It's a really good analysis.
Yeah, but yeah, being in action, right? This is entrepreneurship.
Yeah,
it's making
exactly.
things happen, and
exactly.
things go very organically for you. And now, actually, you're at a point where you need to.
Yeah, we need to
think a bit.
It's we have this different use case. We all love them, but if we want to do the things right for the short next 2 years, we need to select only one and accelerate on this one to make sure that we have the biggest impact. Because there is one way that is going to be a shortcut to a massive impact. And another one that you really love this way, but it's going to be really painful, long, and maybe you're never going to make it.
Which is the one that is going to be the big scale and the other one?
Okay, our vision
just checking the
is to. So we think that in the 2000s years, you had this in every single company. You had this internet director.
Okay.
Okay, and internet was not cross department. You had one guy in charge of internet.
I can see the spark in your eye.
I like this comparison.
So,
And I think today it's the same with Impact. You have the chief of Impact, but we think that Impact should be cross-border all over the organization. And our vision is how do we spread impact all over the organization of the companies. Our background is technology, so we want to address that with technology. So we want to inject impact within all the tools that are using our clients.
Okay.
Within Salesforce, within your accountability tools, within your payment system. So we have like a very technology stack approach of the impact. And that was our first approach. And we have a few clients that have built on our API for their fintech and so on, and even for some of them for Salesforce. But if we want to go that way, it's a very longer sales cycle to build these partnerships. And we need to raise a lot of money to do that.
Okay.
So these are
the harder route. At least this is what it seems.
It's a harder route
with
but a potential way bigger impact because you can go at scale when you have created integration with big players like that, and every time someone is
so once you're in it, you're in it. Like that's
exactly, and then you have access to volume. So this is the long-term plan, but in the short term, we need to build the product because there are very few companies today that are ready to build on our product. Okay. The ones that have done it are mainly very agile companies.
Early stage tech.
Exactly, early stage tech. We have a scale-up as well. We have scale-ups.
But I still have time to allocate tech to...
Exactly, and you need to fit within the roadmap. And we know what are the roadmaps of tech companies. So you need to go down and produce the product for them. And this is what we've done with Anna, that is the app in Slack, exactly. And
is it with one N or two N? I still
two N.
Two N.
Okay. Yeah, two N. And it's the origin of the name. It's because it's a variety of hummingbird.
Oh, really?
Anna. So it was like.
You know a lot about birds.
No, I don't.
No, but it seems very exciting times, and actually I have 200 more questions I would like to ask you. I'm conscious of the time. I also want everyone to have the opportunity to ask a bit of questions. So I propose we take 10 minutes, 5-10 minutes for questions if you have, and then we can go outside, have some time to network. But thanks, Adrien, for taking the challenge of being here and sharing, opening up.
Thanks to you and to you to
of the conversation.
Listen to us.
Let's continue. So if everyone has a question, you can raise your hand, and I try to facilitate. So I saw a hand starting to raise over there.
Thanks for sharing your story. I'm interested. How do you select the partners who are actually making the impact? Because sometimes if you're looking to the charity balances, you might notice that they spend like huge percentage of the funds on marketing themselves, on the guys with the camera filming, the other guy cleaning the beach. How do you choose that?
It's a really good question. It's actually one of the questions we're always having when we are pitching to prospect. So I was expecting this question. So first, to select the NGOs we're working and partnering with, we have an ethics committee that is totally external of our company. It's people that are not paid by Allcolibri, and they don't have equity in our company. They are totally independent. They are doing that pro bono. So we have one person that is an ecologist activist for the past 20 years, and so he's a bit known in France, but internationally he's not. So I'm not going to name it, but you can see him on our website. And another one that is really involved in the society NGOs. So they are recommending us NGOs. When we have some GOs where we don't have any contact, they have a massive network and they are putting us in touch with some contacts. There is a lot of certification existing already, so we are not reinventing the wheel. We are benefiting from that as well. And we are working with NGOs that are dedicating money only for specific projects that we are asking them. So it means that money is not going to marketing. They prefer to have like non-allocated money because they can spend the money they want. If they need 5% for admin, 20% for marketing. But for us, it's very important that this money is going for the project and we can translate into real KPIs this money. So this is how we're working. The risk zero doesn't exist, obviously. We are trying to do everything we can to reduce that. We're a company with purpose, registered our headquarters in France, so it's a specific type of companies where you have to be audited externally about your mission. I mean, not about your accountability, but your mission. If you're saying what you're doing, you are really doing it. If you're not able to success this audit, you're losing your status of company.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, other questions? Yeah, one over there, please.
Yeah, a quick question really. How difficult is it to compete against, let's say, major players like Facebook, who also do campaigns for different, where you can actually create campaigns for different purposes and causes?
That's a very good question. I never had this. I never saw Facebook as a competitor. I don't think we are. There is a lot. Maybe what you're referring, you're talking to gifting.
Fundraisers. You can,
yeah.
You can create a fundraiser.
We are not fundraising. If you have tested it, we haven't asked you to pay. Our business model is the enterprising are paying, and then they are offering these good deeds as a gift. So we don't raise money to individuals. So, but Facebook, I know Facebook is working with one company to offer vouchers to redeem to some NGOs. I think it's great. We don't see that as a competition. Today we are more about educating the market rather than having like an established market where you're going to lose against a competitor. If we don't sign a prospect, it's more that they are not going to do anything. And they're going to wait an extra 2 years.
So the more competitors, the more the market is educated.
Exactly.
It's good, yeah. Interesting. All right, other questions? There are two here.
Yeah, I was just interested in the measurable impact of it. So I looked at the website and it said 19% conversion rate increase. And I was just curious on the impact that it can have. I mean, at the bottom line, it's about, for many merchants, still about making money, and doing something good. So I just wonder if you can share some success stories, some other KPIs, what this specific case to increase it by 90%?
Yes. So there is a study saying that 89% of consumers are more willing to buy from companies and brands that do good for the planet and the society. So firstly, it's improving the perception of the brand from user. So there is more chance they're going to talk to their friend about this brand, and there is more chance that when they land on this website and they're looking for a table, okay, the first website say nothing about impact, the second one say, oh, we are doing something good for the planet, okay, maybe I'm going to buy more on this website. And in that way, it's improving the conversion rate, the repeat as well, because it's creating loyalty to the brand. Where
do you have some data on retaining customers?
So we are creating a use case with an independent company named A/B Testy. So it's a company doing A/B tests. You know them, maybe. And one of our clients, which is Bali Baris, it's a fashion brand, French fashion brand. And for the next 3 months, they're gonna split their traffic, 50% of their traffic without Allcolibri, and see what's going to be the conversion rate, repeat rate, amount spent on the cart, all the metrics that are interesting for e-commerce owner, basically. And the 50% of the traffic, it will be with Allcolibri, where there is a message telling you we're offering you something good for the planet. There is a page on the website saying, hey, here is the impact we're having with our community of buyers. When you're adding in the cart, here is the free gift we're going to offer you for the planet. And at the end of the cart, you're going to be able to select the good deed you want to activate, and you're going to be able to see the whole impact of the community of users. And we're gonna share publicly the results of this research. And it's made by someone that is independent. So if next year we don't publish anything, it means that results are good. And,
but you already had good results for loyalty program.
Yes.
Was
yeah.
number one. So let's get optimistic based on
yeah.
these.
We're optimistic. We're optimistic. But,
let's believe in human.
Yeah. Exactly.
Other question here.
I had the question in your journey and competition. So when you started working, developing the idea, and you already had few competitors. By any chance, or let's say during this journey, did you actually pick amongst all the diamonds that you had, the use cases that you had? Oh, the customer A, competitor A is doing this, or B is doing this, and okay, to create a uniqueness or a value proposition for the client, I pick only these use cases to implement in the MVP.
No, as Elie said, it was a bit more client-driven, and we were a bit responsive to clients' demand, and clients came with ideas, and our goal was to, at the very beginning, to build more a platform API where you come and you build your own ideas, you add impact to every single tool. I don't know if you're having a co-working and you want to say, okay, every day for every single people showing up to the co-working, we're going to remove 100 grams of plastic. Okay, great. Are you able to measure how many people are logging in with the fingerprint to enter in the co-working? Yes, okay, so we can plug our API to that and we can trigger this rule. And then the more people come to the office, maybe it will improve the amount of people coming to the office. It was this kind of thing. And every time it's a different pitch for every single company you're pitching to do that. And most of the companies were coming up with ideas, oh, could we do that, could we do that? But they didn't have bandwidth to build on our API to do that. So we had to start building for them a few things. And this is why we came up with an offer for e-commerce, and then one for loyalty, and the last one for the employee engagement.
Amongst all the use cases that you intend to have, you're actually picking only a few going forward, isn't it?
We're going to pick only one.
You're going to pick only one?
Yeah.
The others?
We're not going to drop the others, of course, but we're going to put our focus only on one of them, and we're going to raise money to go only with this use case. Because today, let's say we have 3 million to spend in one use case, you have to do an arbitrage. If I put 1 million, 1 million, 1 million, we know that the results are not going to be the same for each of them, and one is going to perform better than the other. So let's allocate all the money to the one that is performing better and maximize the impact we can have.
So I guess the challenge here is how much can you know before you get the money in terms of which is going to be the most successful and so on, which is the decision you're going to make. I think what I'm going to take away also from that conversation and the word we had here is that there is always this balance between focus and opportunity. And I think that as an entrepreneur, you need to juggle with that, especially in the early stage, to open up to things that you didn't have in mind, also to survive or to live or to grow and basically give a chance to the project. And that's where you've been until to the point now that you're like, I'm in a position where I have more power to decide.
Exactly, and you need to not fall in the trap of over-pivoting.
Yes.
Because the last person you've been talking to told you should, exactly, you should do that, and you're like, you have seen the light, and oh yeah, let's change the focus. So we have been exploring, which is totally normal for the stage of our product. We have released our product only a year ago, so the idea was for at least 1 year of having this product live to explore in terms of new business different opportunities. And now we have to put a deadline and say, hey, now we need to select. We have three use cases that are working. Which one is going to be the most successful?
So for the next part of this conversation, at the year or in a few months when we look at the news.
Yeah.
Looking at the time, I propose that we close it here. If you have questions, you're going to stay with us until 8.
Yeah, sure.
So if you have questions, I invite you to reach out. Adrien, thank you so much, really, for the conversation,
Thank you,
for
Elie.
sharing with us.